Students, staff, faculty, family, and friends, good afternoon, welcome. The sun is now back out, the rain is falling, and it's just an absolute joy to be with you all here today. In class of 2026, you have achieved an extraordinary milestone. 157 of you are graduating from Harvard Medical School, and 35 of you are graduating from the Harvard School of Dental Medicine. Congratulations. Now, your work has already shaped national conversations about values embedded in medical education. You've surveyed gaps in mental health care systems to help inform policy recommendations. And you've worked to optimize the delivery of multiple sclerosis therapies while also running a support group for women living with MS. Now, two of you, I understand, met right here on your first day at HMS in 2021. You got married, you successfully completed dual MD, MBAs, and couples matched in New York City. We've already heard about RJ and Jiwoo, but Soham and Anjali Ghoshal, where are you? Congratulations. Are there any other marriages we don't know about? We are enjoying this day. And we know, in fact, while we're celebrating your impressive accomplishments, we know that your most impressive contributions really lie ahead in your careers. Now, you're graduating into a medical world with an abundance of opportunity. Biomedicine has never been more exciting. Patients with diseases previously considered terminal are being saved by CAR T therapies. CRISPR gene editing is making life bearable for patients suffering from sickle cell anemia. AI is recalibrating the pace of discovery. And yet, despite all this success and promise, we hear repeatedly that people are losing trust in the American healthcare system. We watch while agencies like the NIH, CDC, FDA are decimated, purged of career scientists. We witness a slowdown in the flow of federal research dollars to crucial biomedical research. And here in Massachusetts, we have some of the longest wait times to see a primary care physician, despite having the highest number of doctors per capita in the country. So indeed, we are living in an era of cognitive dissonance in medicine, with rapid progress and limitless possibilities on one hand, and yet enduring and entrenched health disparities and loss of trust on the other. Now, much like the world is today, the medical profession itself is rife with competing priorities, rife with paradox, rife with tension. Now, to remain optimistic as a physician in today's world, you will need to interrogate these tensions and ask questions like, how do we balance our need for clinical productivity versus spending quality time with patients? How should we weigh personal choice about vaccines against the collective benefit of herd immunity? Should medicine focus more on preventing illness or on treating it? How much of healthcare will be relegated to technology, and how much will remain a deeply human endeavor? Now, these are some of the questions, these are some of the tensions that will define your careers in the coming decades. Now, the concept of tension is actually highly relevant to all of you in particular, and that's because Harvard Medical School owes its very existence to a highly consequential moment of tension in American history. Now, this is where I bring you back to the Warren brothers, who were legendary figures in the founding of Harvard Medical School. And thank you, RJ, for telling John Warren's story earlier in the ceremony. Now, RJ briefly mentioned Joseph Warren, who was John's older brother. Joseph was the prominent Boston physician who played a leading role in the American Revolution. He cared for the wounded in the Boston Massacre. He penned the Suffolk Resolves, which was an influential precursor to the Declaration of Independence. In a speech on the second anniversary of the Boston Massacre, Joseph Warren spoke these words: "May our land be a land of liberty, the seat of virtue, the asylum of the oppressed." Now, Joseph Warren rallied patriots to fight at the Battle of Bunker Hill, where Joseph himself died at the hands of British forces. Joseph Warren sacrificed his life for the principle of liberty, and yet he did not conduct his own life by that same principle. At one point, he owned a slave. Now, at the same time, among his patients were both the wealthiest elites and the poorest common people. And the historical record shows that many people he encountered admired him greatly. Even his political enemies admired his warmth and his charm. It is very difficult to reconcile the fact that Warren was so beloved as a doctor to all people with the fact that he was also a slave owner. And yet both of these truths exist at the same time. Now, R.J. wisely pointed out in his remarks that John Warren's story illustrates the power of history, the power of a radical idea, the power of resilience. I'd like to suggest that the Warren brothers also show us the power of holding simultaneous truths in tension with one another, the power of acknowledging paradox. Now, indeed, there's tension in the idea that Joseph's death gave life to Harvard Medical School, the idea that grief inspired John Warren to follow in his older brother's footsteps and to use the expertise he gained as a surgeon of the Continental Army to propose the creation of Harvard Medical School. Now, indeed, in the instant that John Warren shared his idea for a medical school at a meeting of the Boston Medical Society, a meeting that happened to take part in a bar, it's another story, but with that meeting, a new vision for medicine was born. Out of a fractured country, recovering from dark times, came a distinctive approach to healthcare, and HMS would lead the way. In establishing HMS, John Warren and his contemporaries sought to fill an educational need, yes, but their aspirations were also civic. Their vision included a social compact, honoring not just medical education, but research, innovation, and importantly, clinical service to all. Now, HMS graduates, as America was learning to govern itself, it was also learning to care for itself. As America was declaring its independence, it was also establishing its interdependence. HMS began as an idea forged from tension and the interplay of opposites, independence versus interdependence, the disarray of wartime, and the practical skills John Warren extracted from it, and the grief that could have consumed John had it not also compelled him to service. Because HMS was born from these tensions, all of you inherit that legacy as graduates. I urge you to channel that legacy into becoming caretakers of complexity, guardians of compromise, and champions of the type of progress that can only arise from tension. Graduates, the world is seldom black and white. As physicians, you will be called upon to navigate nuance, juggle contradictory ideas, wrestle with uncertainty on a daily basis. To be a leader in medicine, you must manage competing interests and reconcile these conflicting pieces of evidence. You will have to become comfortable with tension. You will need to listen with an open mind, especially when it feels uncomfortable. Now, there will be other, more personal tensions to contend with. Occasions when you will have to decide whether to clock out of your shift to attend your child's soccer game or to stay late to attend to an unstable patient. In other moments, you may have to choose between advocating for a cause you deeply believe in and caring for a patient who opposes that cause. More broadly, you will grapple with the fundamental tensions between medicine and healthcare. Entrepreneur, philanthropist Gerald Chan delivered a lecture on this subject at the University of Michigan. In his remarks, he set up a contrast between medicine as the art and science of healing and healthcare as the system that organizes, finances, and delivers it. Now, when medicine was primitive, Chan said, there was no need for healthcare systems, but 21st century medicine is remarkably advanced. No single physician can do everything for a patient, so a healthcare system is an important intermediary. It functions as a skeleton that holds together all of medicine's crucial organs. And yet there is a tension between the marvels of modern medicine and what healthcare is actually capable of. In the United States, about a fifth of our $7 trillion economy goes to providing healthcare for Americans, but we have some of the worst healthcare outcomes among high-income nations. This is a painful tension. Part of your charge as graduates will be to hold that tension and find ways to resolve it. You will have to hold many tensions in your head constantly. It won't be easy. But please remember that the struggle to hold, interrogate, and resolve tensions will never be in vain. It will be a crucial part of your career's work. In the space between what is and what ought to be, between the limitations of our healthcare systems and the unlimited needs of our patients, we serve, we bring our best selves, and we do all that we can do. Despite the tensions of our profession being ever starker than ever, earnestly working to resolve tension fortifies our purpose as doctors and helps turn the page on history. And in this year that marks the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, let us recognize that doctors must hold many truths to be self-evident. Only by holding many truths can we advance the inalienable right to health for all humanity. And yes, I am referencing your own class oath. If we can hold multiple truths at once, if we can more gracefully hold tension, I believe that physicians and dentists, scientists, healthcare leaders, all will prove themselves to be both outstanding agents of change and powerful modelers of much needed civil discourse. Indeed, as doctors, our minds are trained for analysis and careful discernment. With earnest attention, we can open ourselves up to other perspectives while adhering to our own values. Graduates of the class of 2026, in your careers, you will identify tensions. You will work diligently to resolve them through wisdom and compromise. Your good work will advance, indeed, the inalienable right to health for all humanity. The contributions you will make as Harvard-trained doctors will be nothing less than revolutionary.